Yo, so this one's going to be using privileges, so let's start right in. So if we were to hit the ls command, it probably makes sense if I go to the right screen, right? If we hit the ls command, it's going to show us what our current directories and files is. And if we want to look at hidden folders or directories, we can do the same command, but add a -la. This is going to show us some hidden folders and directories that we may have not seen. So the D over here means directory. The dash means it's a file. RW means read write. The X means execute. The RW means the owner of the file. RX is the permissions of for the members that own that file, right? So if you had access to this right here, you may only have read access or write access to it, but you might not have execute access, right? So you may be able to see and display, but you're not able to make any changes. And if we go back and we say echo what's up, and we're gonna append that to what's up, Mark Boys, right? So now when you list, right, you can see that we have a what's up dot text, and you can see that it's lit up as it's showing as white, right? So it's, and if actually for proof of concept, this is actually what we're gonna do. We're actually gonna do the ls-la command again, so you can just see. So we have it right here, right? So as you can see, this dash means it's a folder, right? The D means directory. So we have read write access, and also there's going to be some read access too to that file. For if somebody else was logged in, they wouldn't be able to access it. From an executable standpoint, they would just be able to read and display what's actually seen, right? So now, pay attention to this. How this is going to change, right? We're going to issue this command: change mode plus. We can set it to, read, write, execute. We can set it to R for read, or we can use the numbers. I'm not going to use the numbers for this video because that you might, you need to look at a little bit of documentation, because you don't want to just be hitting change mode and using numbers like 777 and not knowing what you're doing, right? So we're just going to hit read, write, execute, and we're going to set it to the what's up dot text. Now, if we do the ls-la, remember the arrow is to go back. Now you can see it changed from white to green, right? So that shows that access has changed. So now we have read, write, execute rights to this because I granted it. It's still a file though. So that grants read, write, and execute privileges. Next thing we're going to do is show you how to add a user. If you try to add a user right now, and we're just going to say Rich, when we try to add it, it's going to say only root may add a user to a group on this system, right? So basically, when you have access to a system, whether it's Windows or Linux, you always want to make sure you have a user account. You don't want to be logged in as the person with the most privileges you can have, domain admin, root on here. You don't want to do that. You instead want to just run the command sudo, which is going to escalate to privilege to root for the specific command, and then we can hit add user Rich. So you're going to enter your password, and then it's going to ask them for a password, and they have to confirm it. And then what you can do is you can just hit enter through all of these things here. So now when we go back, we can look at cat etc password, and it's going to show now our new user right here, which is Rich, right? So if I was going to show you guys an example in here, but for some reason I don't see one. I'll probably have to show you guys another time. But that shows all users. If you want to see the password hashes, you would basically run the etc, but this time with shadow, and it's going to show you, well, I should probably run the sudo command. And see, this is where that comes in there, right? Because if somebody had access to your system and they were running this, they wouldn't be able to see it. They would get that right there. Which is permission denied. But this right here shows the actual hash for all the people who was into password cracking, like John the Ripper, stuff like that. These are hashes right here that you can go ahead and try to crack. You see root. So yeah, so root means that it displays this hash. That means that somebody can potentially crack the password depending on how it's set up. The other thing I want to show you guys is actually how to delete a user. So you obviously was able to see the last person we created name was Rich. If we want to delete that user, we can do something like sudo user delete, and we can do -R for. Let's pull it now. Found. Did I type the right thing? Sudo Rich. Oh. User Rich does not exist. Didn't I make a username exist? A name Rich? Let's see. I thought I added a username. Actually, let's go back. Let's add that user again. I don't know what happened. Sudo add user Rich. Okay, Rich. And you just click through here. And now we want to say switch user to Rich, for example. It's going to ask for the password. So now we're listed as Rich. As you can see, we went from Cali right here to now we're as Rich. So if we want to do ls, we have access to the same thing. And if we do ls-la, we have access to basically the same thing as well. But let's see this though. Let's see if we try to run a sudo command. Sudo add user Craig, right? We trust you have recently received a user lecture, blah, 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 about this, right? So we're going to type in his password and watch what's going to happen. So Rich is not in the sudo file. This incident will be reported, right? So this actually gets sent to a destination file, right, or folder, and it's in, let me see if I can find it. Let me see. CD, let's see, dash. Dang, what was the name of it? Forgive me for that. I have to come back to that because there's actually a path to be able to go and see this incident was reported, right? So Rich is not in the sudo or this file. This incident will be reported. It actually does get reported. You can actually go and look. It's kind of like an event viewer, right? So it tells you the events that have transpired, and it really is reported for the people who don't know. So obviously we're in here as Rich for the user right now. We're going to go back to Cali, or if I can, and then enter that password, and then we go here. If you wanted to delete a user, you would do sudo user delete, and you would do Rich. It's currently processed by user Rich is currently used by process 172.54. So what we can do is we can do ps-aux, and you can see the process right here, right? So this is going to show us 172.54. So that's the process that he's currently on. And what we can do is we can say kill. I don't agree with the terminology they use, but the command is kill to be able to end that process for him, so we can remove him from the system. And that's going to be that process of 172.54. Operation not permitted. Why? That's because we didn't run a sudo. Let's try it again. So now when we go look, remember, use the up arrow, right, to make it quicker. We have this here, right? But let's go and let's do this. Let's look at cat etc password now. Rich is still there, right? Okay. So he's still here, so he didn't get deleted. So what we're going to do is we're going to CD. We're going to switch user back to Cali. We're going to CD out of there, right? Then we're going to try to run this command again. Sudo user delete Rich. Currently used by process 1724, right? So let's run that command again. Sudo kill 172.54. ps.aux Now he's on a different one, right? So let's do cat etc password. Let's try this one more time because it should work. It's currently being used by process, and I just ran that command, so I'm not sure exactly what they're talking about because I just ran the command, right? And basically what this command does here is it lists um, all the current processes that you have running right now. So if you want to see what all processes users currently running, we would do the PS instead of the AUX. We would do the U or -U and his name. So it says there's 2. I don't know how there's 2 running. Anyway, we will use the sudo kill all. They got some names for some commands. I can tell you that. And session terminated shell. So if we go back now, and we do cat etc password, you can see it's not removing. Let's see. Right, because I had to end the process first. So let's try it now. Main spool rich not found. Okay. Does not exist. Let's see. Okay, finally, I don't know what happened. I'm not even sure how he got on 2 different processes at the same time. Maybe I was going kind of quick and I kind of logged in and logged out and logged back in or something like that. But you can see right now he's been removed. It took a little bit of extra work, of course, but just to give you a couple rundown of the commands I just did to end processes, I did the PS-U and I did his name, which he doesn't exist no more. I then ran the elevated command of sudo with the kill all. Again, I don't agree with the commands that they use, but anyway, -U along with the username, that killed both processes. And then that's when you would go back and actually remove the user if he wasn't already removed because he was running on multiple processes. So kind of got off track a little bit, but did we show you how to switch users? If we want to switch users to Kale, for example, we would do SU, which means switch user, and we would put in a username, which is Kale, type in his password, boom. Now as you can see, we went from Cali to Kale, right? And if we want to switch back to Cali, we would just run the same command, enter their password, and we're back where we were with Cali. So hope you guys learned something from this video. I know we had a little mishaps here, but we was able to get through it. Hey, stuff happens on the fly, man. As you working in tech or you being that guy who's a troubleshooter and good at what you do, sometimes problems arise during a presentation or when you're showing somebody something and you have to troubleshoot and work your way through then. So appreciate y'all watching this video, man. We dropping some more. Till next time.